What up, world? R.I.C.H coming right back at you. I gotta say this, and I gotta say it with my whole chest. I love André 3000. I love you, man. I've done videos. I've paid homage. I've called him one of the most unique, iconic, sonically inventive artists to ever touch a microphone.
Period.
But this right here, this new project, 7 piano sketches thing.
Come on, dog.
Andre Benjamin, my brother, you are without question one of the most influential artists in hip-hop history. But if your name was not attached to this project, some random person uploaded the exact same album to Bandcamp or Spotify with a stock image of a cloud, we'd all be sitting here saying the same thing.
Who taught this man to play the piano?
The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is
nobody.
And I'm tired of us pretending otherwise. Now look, let me be fair. The project is called 7 Piano Sketches. And he says himself, this was supposed to be the best, worst rap album in history. He said it's the worst because it has no lyrics, and the best because it's the freest emotionally. And I get that. I respect the intent. I respect the freedom. I respect the experimentation. But even if you free, don't mean the music gotta sound lost. I listened to it, all of it. And to me, it sounded like a dude who just learned middle C and decided to drop an album before learning the rest of the notes. And if we keep it all the way a buck, if this was anybody else, we'd be saying, yo, dog, this ain't cool. Maybe go take a few lessons first. We would be saying it's not ready. It's not refined. It's not professional. But when it's André 3000, all of a sudden, it's genius, elevated. Nah, I can't do that. And I won't do that. And you know why this bothers me? Because the same man who ain't dropped a rap album in decades, who refuses to show up for hip hop, walked into the Met Gala with a baby grand piano strapped to his back. Y'all saw that. A whole piano on his back at the Met Gala, dripped out, looking like a Final Fantasy character with a record deal. But let the Grammys roll around. Let a tribute to hip hop come up. Let another Southern legend need some support. He ain't there. All of a sudden, he's shy. All of a sudden, he ain't built for the spotlight.
Make it make sense.
So when it's time to sell an album, he there, front and center. But when it's time to spit a verse, show love to the culture, ghost. And now this, another instrumental album. After New Blue Sun, which was mostly flute, now it's a whole piano album. Artists grow and people evolve, I get that. But my question is, what happens when that growth is just mid? What happens when you start dropping full-blown projects off instruments that you have barely touched or barely know how to play? What's next, a saxophone album? Violin concerto, where he hits one string and tells us about the emptiness of modern communism? How far does this all go? And through all of this, the stands just eat it up. Like we ain't got ears. Like we can't tell the difference between genius and gimmick. And let me be clear before y'all start crying in the comments. I'm not hating on Andre. I'm holding him to a higher standard because I know what he's capable of. Because he's André 3000, the man who said the South got something to say. The man who has out-rapped everybody he has featured with.
Yeah, that guy.
So here's my message to the legend himself. Andre, if you're going to drop an album, drop something that speaks to your legacy, not just your emotional freedom, not just your whims, your legacy. We need your genius, not your mood music. We need your lyrics, not your liberation journal. If you're done rapping, just say that. But don't keep floating through the culture, picking up random instruments, and expect us to call it a masterpiece every single time. At least not me. And look, I'm glad he's feeling better emotionally, for real. But that ain't got nothing to do with me listening to bad notes for 38 minutes straight. And nobody should have to sit through that just because of who you are. You want praise? Bring the heat. You want critique? Keep dropping unfinished experimental music. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, R.I.C.H. I'll be back with another one. Peace.